All right, I'm here with Ethan Farino, a junior on the Marist baseball team. Ethan, thank you for joining me today. So to get right into it, your team had their first home opener this weekend against Fairfield. This is your first season with the Red Foxes where COVID hasn't been a very detrimental factor to your season. So what was your level of excitement stepping on the field knowing that you're just going to be able to play the game that you've loved without any worries?
Yeah, well, being that my first year was cut short because of COVID, this was definitely an exciting year because we were able to get the full season in where we were traveling to Texas. We played Navy kind of before conference games, which is a big help because you can kind of get the feel of a team before you get into the important conference games. So it was definitely super exciting, and we got to play Fairfield this weekend, obviously, and they were ranked last year, and we didn't get to play them. We were looking forward to this because they were ranked last year, which is very impressive for a MAC team to get the national recognition. So it was definitely super exciting getting a home game in there.
Yeah, and then so you, like you mentioned, you had a bunch of games this weekend against Fairfield. You had 3 games. In your game on Friday, you had a bunt that led to your teammate Gavin Noriega scoring a run at the bottom of the 4th. So what was going through your mind when your coach gave you the signal to bunt in like a big spot like that?
Okay, well, I know my coach has a lot of confidence in me when it comes to bunting. So it's actually one of the things we've been working on a lot as a team is just really getting the bunts out because we've been struggling at it. So I was pinch hitting, brought in first pitch, he gives me the sign, and it was a safety squeeze, which means I'm bunting and then he's running in from third. So it ended up working out perfectly, which was good. So,
yeah, and then like put you up at the end of the inning, right?
Yeah, we ended up tying it on that, and then I think Donnie got a hit the next play, and then he scored, I think it was Brian?
Okay.
I'm not sure, but we ended up taking the lead after that, which was nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. So throughout the season, you guys have had a pretty healthy mix so far of the wins and losses, which is great considering the lack of a season you guys had last year. What do you think has made the difference for Marist between the games where you had a big margin lead versus like the smaller losses?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So like in the games where like you won 17-7 versus Fordham versus some of the games this weekend, like what do you think has made the difference for the team in those types of games?
Okay, so the games that are really close, those are the games that the great teams win the close games. It's easy to add on and blow out teams. That's not really winning because the game kind of gets dictated early in those games, where if you're playing the whole 9 innings and it's close back and forth, the best team that pulls out the most of those victories throughout the year is going to end up being the most successful. So those are important wins to capitalize on.
Yeah, and then have you guys like learned anything from these games, like that you're like, these are the things that we really need to work on for the next one or the next time, because you guys are playing most of these teams like back-to-back days?
Definitely. So in these close games, it's like the little things like get amplified. So if you make an error, it shows more because it's a close game. If someone makes an error or you miss a bunt, those are the things we've been struggling on, is defense and the short game, which is bunting. So being in these close games, it's very important to make sure you're executing those plays properly. So
yeah. And then so now you're coming off of your 3-game weekend against Fairfield, and you guys are playing Merrimack on Tuesday, which you guys haven't played them yet this season. So like what's going through your head going into this game tomorrow?
Yeah, so with these midweek games, it's pretty much just a leapfrog onto the next conference games. Of course, we're looking to win, but we're really focused on getting these conference wins in, and it's important to utilize these midweek games to, again, practice on the defense and the short game and the things we've been struggling on in conference games. Not to get practice, but to execute more efficiently.
Yeah.
It's definitely important.
And so you're a outfielder and a pitcher. You do a little bit of both. Which one do you enjoy doing more of the two?
I know on the roster sheet it says I do both. I'm actually just an outfielder.
Oh, okay.
I came in as a 2-way, so I used to do pitching and outfield, but I definitely enjoy outfield more, which I'm happy that it ended up being that way because I get to hit and play field.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nice. And then what has been your favorite memory with the team so far in your 3 years?
My favorite memory is probably my freshman year. We went down to South Florida, and they have a huge, beautiful stadium, and we ended up coming in as a freshman. I'm like not expecting to win those big games, and then we ended up winning the first game, and that was definitely the most exciting memory for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, no problem.
Ethan Farino.